In December 1980, Jean Hilliard found herself in a dire situation as her car veered off the road and landed in a ditch on a freezing night in Minnesota. With temperatures plummeting well below zero, she decided to abandon her vehicle and seek help at a nearby house. Unfortunately, her attempts were in vain as she discovered that both houses she approached were unoccupied. Determined to find assistance, she pushed forward towards a third house, located 2 miles away from where she had left her car. Exhausted and on the brink of hypothermia, her body succumbed to the extreme cold just a mere 15 feet away from the third house's entrance. It was in this frigid state that homeowner Wally Nelson discovered her frozen and ice-covered body the following morning. Initially believing her to be deceased, Wally described her face as ghost white and her body as stiff as a popsicle. However, his perception soon changed when he heard her emit a faint moan, indicating signs of life. Carefully, Wally lifted her rigid body and placed her in the back seat of his car, unable to accommodate her in the front due to the stiffness caused by the freezing temperatures. Urgently, he drove her to the nearest hospital, hoping for a miracle. Upon arrival to hospital, Dr. George Sather examined her and was astounded to discover that even her eyeballs were frozen, along with her feet inside her boots. The severity of her condition was evident, as her body temperature was too low to register on a thermometer. Initially assuming her to be deceased like Wally, Dr. Sather too was astonished when he heard her emit a feeble moan. Taking immediate action, Dr. Sather wrapped her body in an electric heating pad and connected her to an oxygen supply. Remarkably, Jean Hilliard defied all odds and she made a complete recovery. In early 2015, a heart-wrenching discovery awaited Don Smith as he stumbled upon the frozen body of his 26-year-old son on the roadside, a considerable distance from their home in Tresckow, Pennsylvania. Justin had been drinking with friends, ironically raising their glasses in memory of another friend who had tragically lost their life in a car accident. An incident Justin had miraculously survived. At approximately 9:30 p.m., Justin bid farewell to his friends and embarked on the journey home, a journey that would prove perilous. Fatigue and the effects of alcohol overcame him, causing him to collapse in the snow-covered landscape. As the night wore on, the unforgiving temperature plummeted to a bone-chilling -4 degrees Fahrenheit, casting a harsh, icy grip on Justin's unconscious body. The following morning, around 7:30 a.m., Don, alerted by one of Justin's concerned friends, set out on a search that would shatter a father's heart. There, in the frigid embrace of winter, Don discovered his son motionless and frozen. The police and paramedics swiftly arrived on the scene, their somber faces confirming what they initially believed. Justin had succumbed to the bitter cold. Ironically, even a coroner had been summoned to investigate the tragic cause of death, as Don sorrowfully reached out to his wife, sharing the devastating news of their son's passing. However, hope would unexpectedly intervene, defying the grim circumstances that enveloped them all. Medics sprang into action, resolutely performing CPR on Justin before airlifting him to a hospital, where a desperate battle for his life commenced. In a remarkable turn of events, Justin emerged from a grueling 15-day coma, defying the odds that had once threatened to consume him. Although he had survived, the harsh reality of his ordeal remained evident, as severe frostbite had taken its toll. The necessity arose for the amputation of some toes and both of his little fingers, a cruel reminder of the sacrifice his body had endured. The truth is that one doesn't have to be grounded to fall prey to freezing temperatures. Such was the harrowing experience of 35-year-old paraglider Ewa Wisnierska. In February 2007, Ewa embarked on a fateful flight over New South Wales in Australia in preparation for the World Paragliding Championships. As Ewa soared through the skies, an unexpected tempest swept her up, propelling her into the depths of the storm clouds. Torrential rainfall and hailstones, some as large as oranges, relentlessly pummeled her fragile body, propelling her from a modest altitude of approximately 2,500 feet to a staggering 32,000 in a mere 15 minutes. The rapid ascent brought with it plummeting temperatures, plunging to a bone-numbing minus 58 degrees Fahrenheit, while the oxygen supply became alarmingly scarce. Overwhelmed by the brutal forces of nature, Ewa succumbed to unconsciousness, her body succumbing to the frigid cold and deprivation of vital air. Miraculously, she regained consciousness after an hour, only to discover that her hands and gloves had become encased in a cruel layer of ice, making her unable to control the paraglider. Helplessly, she floated amidst the clouds, soaring at an altitude of 22,600 feet, until the storm's relentless grip drew her back into its swirling embrace. Finally, after a tumultuous journey, the tempest released her, depositing Ewa approximately 40 miles away from her original takeoff point. She landed covered in a frosty sheen. Despite the ordeal, Ewa miraculously escaped permanent injuries, save for the chilling reminder of serious frostbite around her ears. After spending a brief hour in the confines of a hospital, Ewa was discharged. However, fate had cast a different outcome for another paraglider, 42-year-old Hye Jong-pin, who found himself ensnared in the same tempestuous storm. Tragically, he did not survive the ordeal. His lifeless body recovered almost 50 miles away from his ill-fated takeoff point. In the early hours of February 23, 2001, the bitter cold of Edmonton in Alberta, Canada became an unwitting adversary for one-year-old Erika Nordby. In a surreal and dangerous turn of events, Erika ventured outside her home, clad only in a t-shirt and diaper. As the temperature plunged to a bone-chilling minus 11 degrees Fahrenheit, the unforgiving elements swiftly took their toll, and Erika found herself frozen in the embrace of the snow-covered landscape. Layla, Erika's mother, awoke shortly after 3 a.m., expecting to hear her daughter's cries for nourishment. To her dismay, silence enveloped the house. Gripped by a sense of urgency, Layla embarked on a frantic search, her heart pounding with trepidation. And there, amidst the wintry terrain, she discovered her child, curled up in the snow. Fearful of causing further harm to her daughter's fragile, frozen limb, Layla tenderly swathed Erika in blankets, desperately trying to shield her from the icy grip of the cold. Promptly responding to the distress call, paramedics and police arrived at the scene, swiftly taking charge of the critical situation. With Erika's life hanging in the balance, the medics wasted no time in transporting her to the hospital. Doctors connected Erika to a heart and lung machine, a lifeline that would extract her blood and warm it before returning it to her chilled body. However, as hope seemed to wane, a miraculous turn of events unfolded. The beat of Erika's heart reawakened, defying the odds and rekindling the flicker of life within her. A full day passed before Erika finally emerged from her slumber, her eyes fluttering open. The indomitable strength of her young body had triumphed over the icy grip of the cold, granting her a second chance at life. On October 7, 2006, Mitsutaka Uchikoshi's ambitious ascent of Mount Roko in Japan took an unexpected turn. During his climb, he found himself plunged into a treacherous stream, resulting in a shattered pelvis. He managed to retain consciousness for a brief period before succumbing to unconsciousness the following day. It wasn't until 24 days had passed that another climber stumbled upon Uchikoshi's motionless body. Although not frozen in the conventional sense, Uchikoshi's body had endured an astonishing drop in temperature, reaching a chilling 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Additionally, he suffered from severe blood loss and the failure of multiple organs. The incident fascinated medical professionals, who marveled at the extraordinary resilience of the human body. Dubbing it the first recorded instance of human hibernation, doctors observed how Uchikoshi's body instinctively shut down, descending into a gradual state of hibernation as the frigid temperatures on the mountain plummeted to as low as 50 degrees Fahrenheit. This remarkable adaptation allowed his body to conserve energy and endure the harsh conditions he faced. Against all odds, Uchikoshi emerged victorious, eventually making a full recovery, defying the limitations imposed by nature itself. In May 1999, a chilling incident unfolded in the Kjolen Mountains of Norway, involving Anna Bagenholm, a 29-year-old radiologist, and her skiing expedition with two colleagues. Anna fell into a frozen stream, submerging her head beneath the icy waters while her legs remained exposed above the surface. Despite the valiant efforts of her friends, their attempts to pull her out were thwarted by the unyielding grip of frozen water, leaving her trapped between immovable rocks. In the midst of this frozen nightmare, Anna found a precarious refuge, a pocket of air beneath the ice. However, her struggles to free herself were met with a relentless sinking sensation, gradually inching her closer to the icy depths. She fought valiantly for 40 agonizing minutes until her movements ceased, her energy depleted. For another despairing 40 minutes, Anna remained submerged, her only connection to the world above being her feet protruding through the frozen veil. When help finally arrived, Anna's frozen form defied the boundaries of life. She was without breath, her heart silent. Her body temperature had plunged to an unimaginable low of 56.7 degrees Fahrenheit, a realm no human had ever emerged from unscathed. Doctors immediately connected Anna to a heart and lung machine. Her blood was meticulously drained from her body, warmed, and then carefully reintroduced, a painstaking process that continued until her heart stirred to life once more, heralding the dawn of a new day. 12 agonizing days passed before Anna emerged from the depths of her coma, her eyes fluttering open to greet a world that had been suspended in uncertainty. While the ordeal had exacted a toll, leaving her bedridden for a year due to nerve damage, Anna exhibited an unwavering resilience. Over time, her indomitable spirit propelled her toward an extraordinary recovery, defying the limitations imposed upon her by that fateful encounter with the icy waters. Anna Bagenholm's remarkable record for the lowest recorded human temperature stood until a chilling incident unfolded on Sweden's western coast on December 25, 2010. On that day, 7-year-old Stella Berndtsson found herself immersed in icy waters, challenging the limits of human endurance. Stella's temperature at the time of her discovery was 55.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Leaving her home in Lear in Sweden with an adventurous spirit, Stella ventured out in search of an imaginary treasure, sketched on a map only her young imagination could conceive. Unbeknownst to her parents, her absence only became apparent after a noticeable stretch of time had passed. Concern quickly turned into action as neighbors rallied together, forming a search party to scour the surroundings. Stella's father, Peter, stumbled upon her delicate footprints at the rear of their dwelling, tracing them to the edge of a cliff, where evidence of her fall was unmistakable. Astonishingly, the trail persisted, indicating her determination to press on, her tiny footsteps leading her toward the shoreline. The search intensified as a fisherman, along with the aid of 3 helicopters and the Coast Guard, joined forces to locate the missing child. With a stroke of fortune, one helicopter spotted Stella amidst the icy waters, executing a swift airlift that whisked her away to the hospital. The gravity of the situation hung heavy as Stella's heart ceased its rhythm, prompting doctors to deliver the devastating news of her presumed demise to her anguished parents. The flicker of hope was faint, as the chances of her survival seemed dim. In an extraordinary display of medical intervention, doctors meticulously initiated the process of warming Stella's fragile body. Hours elapsed before the miraculous happened, the tentative beat of her heart rekindled, heralding a stirring of life. 12 arduous hours later, her eyes fluttered open, albeit briefly, a fleeting glimpse into a world teetering between despair and hope. In the subsequent weeks, Stella regained her voice, her ability to communicate, signaling the rekindling of her youthful spirit. With time, her journey towards a complete recovery unfolded, defying the odds stacked against her. Remarkably, Stella's recollection of the accident and her time spent in the hospital grew faint as the years passed, allowing her to forge ahead, embracing the gift of life and leaving behind the chilling memories that once threatened to consume her. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate your time and hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked what you saw, be sure to check out the other great content on our channel. Your support means the world to us, and we can't wait to bring you more. Thank you again, and see you in the next video.